What you can see here is a tube overdrive which I've made. This consists of two ECC82s, and each of them has an individual gain control. This is the gain control for this tube. This is the gain control for this tube. This is a master tone control and a master volume control. This is the master bypass switch. This lets you select if you're running only the first tube or running both the tubes together. So this lets you select that, and this is a kill switch. I've decided many of you are apprehensive about drilling holes into your guitar and using them and putting a kill switch in them, so I've put one on the pedal. There's a momentary stomp. If you press it, the guitar signal is killed, just like the way the kill switch works. So you have a kill switch on your stomp box, and you can just it even works on bypass. So in case you want to use this kill switch with some other effects and you want this effect off at that point, you can still use the kill switch. Now, the way this works is the guitar input is on this side, the output is on this side, and once you plug it in and you switch the effect on for the first time, depending on what this is at that point of time, the first tube is on. You can control the gain settings using this knob. Putting it down will turn the gain down to minimum, putting it up will turn the gain down to maximum. As soon as you press this switch, both of them start working together, and even this gain control starts working. So you can set the overall gain of both the stages using this. And there's one thing peculiar about this, and it's not a mistake, it's on purpose. The tone, generally the tone, if you turn the volume or tone up, the treble increases. But right now if you turn the treble knob up, the treble will decrease. And same way when master volume is at a minimum, like at this in generally, it is at its minimum, but in this case the maximum is on this side and the minimum is on this side. And there's a reason for that, because in the internal wiring of the tube, the wires are crossing from this point to this tube, and they are in opposite phase because it's an inverting device, and when two opposite phase interfere at that point, it results in noise. So to cut that out, I wired it the other way around like this. It's an electric term, but then I just thought you should know this, and this just cuts down the noise, nothing else. Otherwise it works perfectly. Now, like I said, you have your first gain stage here, which is this first tube. This has two triodes and this has two triodes, so a total of 4 triodes which are amplifying. These are your 4 triodes. There's a gain for this and there's a gain control for this. This goes into this. This is how your topography looks like. So your input from the kill switch goes into your first triode. This controls the gain for this first triode, and there's no gain control for the second triode. It's not needed. You don't need so much of control over your gain. After this can be shut off. That means you could only use the first tube and not at all engage the second tube. There's a foot switch here, which lets you completely bypass this effect and go to the output, or you can connect this to the next stage, and this gets on. You can control the gain of the first triode of this, and goes into the second triode. You don't need control over there, as I said, and then this is connected to the output. So this is your total topography of how this thing is working. And one more thing I'd like to point out, like I said, the signal looks like this. This is fed into the first stage. Now this is a very low signal, it's around 0.5 volts, and you're supplying this a 12 volt supply. Now if you amplify this on the first stage, depending on your gain, this 0.5 can go up to 5 volts, 6 volts. The maximum I can send it to, I've put a gain of 10 maximum, so it can go up to 5 volts. Now at this point your signal will look like this. The maximum it can go up to can be depending on the gain. The gain can be set at 100 and you would want 50 volts at that point of time, but obviously you can't get 50 because 12 is the maximum supply here. So at that point your signal starts clipping. So instead of getting an output like this at 50 volts, you'll get an output of this, a clipped wave at 12 volts. Now why I'm telling you this is you can control what's happening. If you turn your guitar volume down, the input signal level will be low, and you will not clip here and you will not clip here, and it can work as a clean boost. The minute the gain is high enough to start clipping, it starts working as an overdrive. And as soon as it goes into the second stage, the clipping goes, it's even more extreme. You can just imagine if it's clipped, and then this is amplitude and clipped again, keeps getting worse. So what happens, it starts acting like a distortion. It's not the diode clipping which is there in normal distortion, but it's a tube clipping, and at that high stage it's literally acting like a distortion. So you can use it as a boost, you can use it as a distortion, or you can use it as an overdrive. It depends on the way you use it. So let's listen to a few sounds. I've demoed using my bridge pickup most of the time, going into a tube amp. So let's see it sounds. I hope you like it. The first thing we'll be doing is seeing how the clean guitar sounds through the amp. Now let's switch the effect, and we'll put the volume at 3 o'clock and the gain at 3 o'clock. We'll turn the master volume up to 12 o'clock. Now we'll turn the gain up to 12 o'clock. And you should remember only the first stage is on right now, the second tube is still off. Now let's push the gain all the way up to the maximum, and the master volume is also at full. Both at the tube and the amp. Now let's see how a couple of lead tones sound on this tone. Now let's switch the effect off and listen to the clean guitar and compare how the clean and the distorted tones sound like. Switch to the bridge pickup right now. Compression on right now, so it sounds a little harsh, and I'm not adding anything on the DAW, so it's exactly the clean sound which is going on. Now we're switching the second tube on. We're putting the gain of the second tube at 3 o'clock and the gain of the first tube at 3 o'clock, and we are putting the master volume also at 3 o'clock, and the tone knob is still at full. So this is how it sounds like with both the tubes on. riddle sounds like. Thanks for watching this video.